225 light-years away from Earth. Drifting quietly in the vast, merciless black void of the cosmos, there exists a world. A planet that, on the surface, seems eerily familiar. Its name is Kepler-22b. To the scientific community, it represents a beacon of hope, a celestial body with the potential to harbor life, a second Earth. But what if I told you that the truth is far more disturbing than anyone ever imagined? That Kepler-22b might not be a sanctuary, but something far more sinister, something that defies comprehension, a cursed world, a cosmic nightmare where life, if it exists, might be the stuff of horror beyond human understanding. The signals we intercepted, the patterns, the anomalies, all point to one terrifying conclusion. This planet is not what it seems. And the deeper we look, the more we wish we had never looked at all. In December 2011, NASA's Kepler Space Telescope made a discovery that sent waves of excitement through the scientific world. Kepler-22b was identified orbiting a star remarkably similar to our own Sun. It was celebrated as the first planet, found within the habitable zone of a Sun-like star where conditions could, in theory, support liquid water and life. The headlines were optimistic. Earth's twin found, they declared. But behind the scenes, the mood was far more complicated. The raw data coming back wasn't clean. Observatories worldwide began noticing faint irregularities, tiny distortions buried deep within the signal. At first, it was dismissed as background noise, sensor interference, an error. But as more telescopes locked onto Kepler-22b, a pattern began to emerge. Signals that shouldn't exist, rhythmic, repeating, structured, something intentional. Public reports were sanitized. The anomalies were omitted. But those who had access to the unfiltered data, they knew something was wrong, terribly wrong. SETI, the Search for Extraterrestrial Intelligence, quickly classified the signals as non-natural, non-random, non-verifiable. A bureaucratic way of saying, we have no idea what this is. Privately, however, their analysis grew darker. Frequency wasn't just consistent, it pulsed like a biological organism. A slow, steady rhythm, almost like breathing. And sometimes, the rhythm changed. It accelerated, decelerated, fluctuated, as if responding, as if aware. When the signals were converted into sound waves within the human hearing range, listeners reported disturbing effects, feelings of intense dread, nausea, a creeping paranoia. Some described it as being watched through the void. Others claimed it induced nightmares for days afterward. Speculation ran wild. Was it a beacon? A distress call? Or a warning? The truth was impossible to verify, because every attempt to further investigate was met with unexplained data corruption, server failures, and in one case, a sudden, total blackout of a major observatory's entire sensor array. Desperate for answers, a coalition of astrobiologists and atmospheric scientists began building simulations of Kepler-22b based on every scrap of data available. What they found was beyond alarming. The planet's atmosphere is shrouded in an extraordinarily thick layer of clouds so dense that less than 3% of its star's light reaches the surface. Kepler-22b's slow rotational wobble creates a nightmare environment. One side locked in perpetual storm, the other in endless, suffocating twilight. Life here, if it exists, would never have evolved around sight. It would rely on vibration, sound, and magnetic fields. Entire ecosystems adapted to darkness. But the models predicted something worse. An apex predator, a dominant life form adapted to the absolute silence. It doesn't hunt by seeing. It hunts by sensing the faintest vibration, the smallest electromagnetic fluctuation. Anything that dares to move. In the simulations, prey species evolved to be absolutely still for days, weeks even. The slightest movement triggered a catastrophic cascade of predation. A world where survival means becoming part of the landscape, motionless, breathless, waiting. In 2017, an anonymous post appeared on an encrypted dark web forum dedicated to fringe astronomy and forbidden science. It contained what was claimed to be an unfiltered transmission, recording from Kepler-22b, something supposedly intercepted by an underground satellite network. For the first 3 minutes, the recording is pure silence. Then, a pulse, low, deep, mechanical, but organic, followed by what can only be described as movement. Wet, dragging, shifting mass, but then something else. A sound impossible to rationalize, a complex, layered noise that resembled both a distorted voice and the grinding of metal under pressure. Listeners described it differently. Some said it sounded like whispering. Others, like something enormous shifting beneath miles of rock. Then, just before the recording cuts, a single sharp tone, piercing, followed by total silence. The file deleted itself seconds after playback finished. The forum? Gone within 24 hours. All mirrors scrubbed. Users who shared it reported being locked out of every account they owned. Some even claimed physical devices were fried beyond repair. So, what is Kepler-22b? A cradle for alien life? Or a cosmic graveyard? Is it a message? A lure? A trap left floating in the dark for civilizations foolish enough to listen? The signals, they haven't stopped. Even now, background anomalies still pulse from the direction of Kepler-22b. Weak, but consistent. Maybe Kepler-22b is habitable, but not for us. Maybe it's already inhabited by something that doesn't need light, something that doesn't breathe like we do, something that thrives in the void, listening, waiting, watching, and maybe, just maybe, we were never supposed to know it exists. Buried files, stories the world tries to bury. Like, subscribe, and comment.